This is Byron Gordon for the SES Conference YouTube channel, and we are at SES London 2011, and we are talking to Brad of the Online Marketing Institute. Brad, you gave a great presentation about the importance and significance of companies using social media, vis-a-vis search as well. You talked about developing a content strategy, so I'd like for you, if you could, elaborate a little bit for those of us who didn't get a chance to attend your great talk. What does that exactly mean, developing a great content strategy, and where do we start for B2B or B2C?
Well, social, even though it started out of just me and you connecting, it became, in terms of how we as businesses can take advantage, all about content. And really, if you don't have content, you don't have a social media strategy. So that's why we talk about the importance of knowing what it is that you should talk about. And so there's a few places you want to start. First, and this probably isn't the first time your listeners have heard this, but you want to start by listening, using tools like search.twitter.com to see what they're saying real time, even connecting that to an RSS to let you know what they're talking about immediately, using Google Alerts, actually tracking some of your customers, your prospects' blogs, see what they're talking about. A lot of customers and prospects like how-to articles, so a lot of it has to do with customer motivations. We looked at some of the research that showed that we're motivated to go on the web to get information, to get discounts, to get how-to. So find out what it is that the people in general, and then specifically your customers, are looking for, and then build a calendar around it. Don't just stab in the dark and just say, we're going to talk about these types of things. But let's say 3 different areas you're going to talk about. How often are you going to talk about it? What's small and more like Twitter and smaller posts or retweets are you going to push out? But also what big content, like research reports, like surveys, and going out to customers and getting data that you can then write more larger reports on. So what's the small, big, charting it out, who's going to build it, and actually then going back to the calendar after you've got results and showing where you actually had some hits.
So Brad, Facebook, the biggest elephant in the room, I think I've heard it been said. Why is it so important for a business to be on Facebook?
Sure. Well, the old adage, you got to fish where the fish are. And it's not just that it's young kids like it started. When Facebook started, you had to have a Harvard or an MIT email domain. Now it's anyone. And now the fastest growing demographic is 35-year-old plus. It's not just in America, it's worldwide, it's a global marketplace. And these are individuals that, yes, they are interacting with people, but now with Facebook pages and Facebook's ability for a business to have their own place, it's these pages that are also interacting, letting customers and prospects know about what's going on in their world, pushing exclusive Facebook-only discounts or sweepstakes through Facebook. So it's a matter of, we got to go where the fish are, and the fish are there often. We're logging into this website. 50% of us every day are going onto this website. And the numbers of how many of us are checking it the first thing in the morning. We don't even get out of bed. We bring up our cell phones and we're looking at Facebook. That just shows us we have to, as businesses, figure out how can we get into, that's what marketing is. We have to get to those individuals, and that's where they are.
Finally, key performance indicators, KPI. What are some KPIs companies should be looking at or identifying to help track just how successful or effective their social media strategy is?
Sure. Well, that's a question that will differ from organization to organization. If you look at across the board, most organizations are just looking at the amount of traffic coming in from their site. Now, of course, that is a good thing to look at. That's one of the benchmarks, similar to Facebook fans or Twitter followers. But that's not the only thing. In fact, you want to take a look, if you can, at conversions. At the end of the day, that's going to be one of your best metrics, and seeing, are people actually converting? Not just buying, not just because we're not all selling on our site. We may be a B2B customer, B2B company that isn't selling our $10,000 product online, but we are doing let's say a white paper for a free download in exchange for email. We are doing a forum just in general to get more information about you, and that's the conversion. So that's one of the ways that a lot of companies have found success, is what kind of conversions. That's my key performance indicator. Are people actually coming in from these social networks, from YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, Twitter, and then actually doing something? And that's one of the best ways to take a look at the success from your campaigns.
Brad, thank you so much for the social media insight.
My pleasure.
And there is more to come from SES London 2011. Stay tuned for more.